story of the Meraglim, the chet of the Meraglim. As the Torah itself says, "Va'ad ona le'aminu bi," the Yidden, the Klal Yisrael did not believe in me. There was a problem in Amunah. In Parshas Dvarim, the same thing when Moshe Rabbeinu repeats the story. It says, "V'adavar hazeh einchem ma'aminim Hashem l'geichem." You did not trust Hashem that Hashem could take you into Eretz Yisrael. Problem is, it seems like there's a little bit of a contradiction in Parshas Pinchas. It says that when Klal Yisrael was counted after the 40 years, so it says that in this count there was nobody that was included in the first count, because all the people from 20 to 60 died in the Midbar. There was no ish left except for Kalev and Yeshua. And Rashi says in the name of Chazal, there was no ish, but there were isha. The woman survived. Why did the woman survive? So the Chazal say, because they were mechabim es haaretz. The women loved Eretz Yisrael, so therefore they did not get punished. What does that have to do with loving Eretz Yisrael? Who cares if they loved Eretz Yisrael? They didn't trust that Hashem would take them in. That was the problem. It wasn't a problem of loving Eretz Yisrael. But we find the Ma'aseh in a pasuk in Tehillim. The pasuk in Tehillim says, "Vayimas be'eretz chemda." When we talk about the door of the Meraglim, the generation of that lived in the time of the spies of the Meraglim, says, "Vayimas be'eretz chemda." They were disgusted by Eretz Yisrael. They did not value Eretz Yisrael properly. What is it? Who said anything about valuing Eretz Yisrael? You know, in the pasuk itself, it says that the Meraglim, when they came and they said everybody's so strong and we're not going to be able to do that, but they started by saying Taiva Haaretz at they said the fruit is very pira, and they said Zavas Chol v'Dvash, and it's a good land. It's a good land, but the people are very strong. We find also when Yeshua and Kalev tried to come in, all Klal Yisrael got into a panic and they said, "Let's go back to Mitzrayim. Let's go back. Let's go back to Mitzrayim." They said, "No, don't go back to Mitzrayim." What should they have said? Everything's fine. We're going to win the war. No, they said the land is Taivar. It's Ma'id Ma'id. The first thing they said is the land is very, very good. And then they said, "Chafetz banu Hashem in Pasuk Ches." Hashem wants; He's going to give us the land. He can do it. He can win this war. But first, they had to convince them that the land is very good. Why are they discussing if the land is good or it's not good? The problem over here is that the Meraglim said the people are very strong, and Klal Yisrael didn't believe that they could conquer the land. Rav Pam Zecher Tzadik Levracha, the Rosh Yeshiva of Torah Das, he says a very important insight. Anytime a person goes into a business deal, he goes into any sort of challenge that comes in life. So obviously there's risks, and you have to weigh the risks, but you also have to weigh the benefits. What are the benefits? Person says, listen, there's a business proposition, you have to invest $1 million, and you'll be able to make, you know what you'll be able to make? If you do everything properly, and you weigh your risk properly, you'll be able to make $5. No, I'm not willing to go into a risk of giving $1 million that I should make $5. Of course not. But let's say you say, listen, you put in $1 million, but if everything works out, there are risks. But if you do it properly, if you play your cards properly, you have $100 million. Oh, then I'm willing to think. Then I'm willing to risk everything. When the Klal Yisrael heard that the Meraglim said, "Taiv, the world, the land is it's a good land. There's Zavas Chol v'Dvash. It's a good land. Okay, it's a good land. All right, let's hear. But the people there are very strong. No, we're not willing to do that. It's a good land. Okay, good is okay." Said Yeshua and Kalev, "No, it's Taiv Haaretz Ma'od Ma'od. You don't realize how good the land is. If you would realize how good the land is, then you would realize that all the risks that you think that Hashem can do it, don't worry about the risks. The real source of the chet started from the fact that they did not value Eretz Yisrael. They didn't realize the women were mechaviv in its hearts. Therefore, they didn't listen to all the arguments. Already, it's not negeh. It doesn't really matter what kind of problems and what kind of dangers are lurking around the corner if we realize how amazing the goal is, how amazing Eretz Yisrael is. So yes, the source was Vayimasu be'eretz chemda. The result was they were lacking in Amunah. They didn't trust that Hashem could do it. But if they would only not focus on the problems, they would focus on how great Eretz Yisrael is, then they wouldn't even pay attention to any of the problems, says Rav Pam, that are potentially the strong and the strength of the armies that are there. Very often we try to do something, we want to gain another level of ruchnias, we want to learn more Torah, we want to do more mitzvahs, and the Yetzer Hara comes with 1,000 arguments why it's not possible and what the risks are. But that's all, the Yetzer Hara only has a chance to convince us otherwise if we don't realize how great the goal is. If we would only focus on what the goal is and how amazing it is to reach another level and another level of ruchnius, then all the arguments of the Yetzer Hara fall down and they don't hold any water at all. Most important thing is mechavivin es to be able to love the goal of Eretz Yisrael in the case of the Meraglim, the goal of any type of goal, ruchnius, the goal, any type of spiritual goal that we want to do. We should just focus on the goal and how great it is and how amazing it is. Everything else falls down. We believe in Hashem, then the Amunah in Hashem will come by itself. Good Shabbos.